Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning from wherever you are tuned in watching Campfire TV on this beautiful Saturday afternoon here in the city of Massachusetts. This is going to be our last show for Uganda at Crossroads before the elections. So the next time we meet again, Ugandans would have decided who their next president is going to be. We shall be only waiting for the Sunday, that will be going to be the 17th, I think, when the Electoral Commissioner will be announcing who the next president of the Republic of Uganda is. My name is Moses. Let's take a look at a quick commercial and then come back.
Our future deserves a people-centered government and leadership, equal access to education and health services, inclusive economic development, strategic and stable international relations, protection of our land. Our future deserves a national security. Our future deserves us. You and I have a responsibility to protect and secure our future. Our future deserves Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert, our generational leader. Vote Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert as your president. Vote the umbrella for a new Uganda.
All right. We hope that you are once again tuned in watching. Share the page with your friends, with your loved ones. We are also on YouTube. If you go and search for Campfire TV, share this link and make it go viral wherever you are. Welcome once again. This is Uganda at Crossroads, and I've said today is going to be our last show before Uganda goes into its elections. We are counting down now to the next 5 days for the most awaited and highly anticipated election of our time. Could this be the time for change in Uganda? With me in the studios today is Sarah Joy and Mr. Kapalaga Baby. They're going to introduce themselves as we discuss and touch the grim reality facing Uganda. Tonight's going to be different. We're going to look at the aftermath of the election, what will happen. So much has been going on in the build-up to this election, so it's going to be interesting to look at all the incidents that have been happening in the country, but also what is going to be happening starting on Monday until the day of the 14th. Remember, as I said, pray for your country, pray for our country. We shall have a peaceful, free, and fair election that will bring up the joy and happiness that all Ugandans are waiting for. Sarah Joy, a very good afternoon to you, and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you're here. And Kapala,
Happy New Year
to
you.
I haven't seen you since last year. I hope you have something for us, for the new year. You normally give gifts, but we didn't hear from you. Maybe Kapalaga took it. Kapalaga, we are glad you're here, and greet our viewers, please.
Thank you very much, comrade. Are you a comrade? Thank you very much, soon to be comrade Mukitale, comrades in Uganda and around the whole world. I greet you. My name is Michael Kakande, also known as Kapalaga Baby. Yeah.
Kapalaga,
I'm happy to be here.
You're very excited because we were talking earlier that you might be the next Mulu Katende representing Uganda in Washington. For some of you have been fighting as foot soldiers on the ground. Let me start with Sarah Joy. Sarah Joy, a lot has been happening in the country. Let's bring it to speed with this week alone. I have a couple issues, but let me start from this week. We had 129 police reshuffles that took place that were announced on Friday. And this happens a week to the elections. What does that ring into your head?
One, President Museveni is scared. We all know that. And some of these reshuffles are happening to send a message to the public or to scare people who are going out into the voting. You've seen the deployment. The deployment has been heavy. So when BOBI Wine went to Kalangala, an area that was not even designated by the Electoral Commission among the areas where he's not supposed to campaign, they sealed off Kalangala. And they heard again he was going back again. They were again in Kalangala. They were just disappointed that he did not show up. So I think one of the things we must understand, Uganda is a military regime, and Now the dictator is doing everything to send a signal and a message to the people, because as an individual, does he rule the country by the constitution? Definitely no. What does he use to rule and run Uganda? He uses the gun. So, as any dictator in the world, that is bound to happen. So it's not something, but this is not the first time he has deployed. Reshuffles has been happening, and is it for any good? Basically, this is happening because of the election that is coming up. We know very well that President Museveni cannot even get 10% or 20% of the vote. Majority of the people who are gonna go, and majority of the voters are young people who are dissatisfied with the leadership of President Museveni. They've never seen any other president. And despite everything that is happening, I think the vote of 2021, it is a protest vote of Ugandans saying, we need change. We want to see someone else. We do not know. Let's worry about how the person is going to perform later, but we need to see you go. We cannot have one person for 35 years and then you add on another 40 years. It cannot. How weak are we that we cannot have, change of guards, change of presidency? So.
But do you think in any way these reshuffles could impact on the, because we're looking at people turning up to vote, and then we are looking at the changes, not just in the police, but also had in the military. Last time we spoke about the changes that happened in the military. Now we are seeing the changes happening in the police force at a time when police brutality has been so high, and rampant in the country. Kapalaga, let me jump to you quickly. Do you think that is in any way going to impact the election day, the activities of the election day itself?
Of course it will. Just like Sarah has put it, the regime is scared. And just like any outgoing regime of dictatorship regime, they tend to get so scared that they can do unruly actions that you would probably sit down and when you think about it, you're like, why would someone do something like this? I think you've seen a video of President Museveni making rounds, telling us that he has actually brought the army that was fighting Al-Shabaab to the capital. And I want to remind you that the people living in capital are not Al-Shabaab. They are the common people that sell gonja on the roads. They are the common border riders. But the president of the country is so proud that he's bringing soldiers who have fought Al-Shabaab in a democratic process that is happening. And if again you've followed whatever has happened, I believe you've not had any positive message from our government, from the president, from the CDF, from the IGP, from the Minister of Defense, from the Minister of Internal Affairs, from every message has been. I was watching IGP Ochola, and he said, if you feel you want to disorganize, literally, that is what he was saying. So the IGP of the country is telling people, we are going to kill you. The president of the country is telling people, we are going to kill you. The Minister of Defense is telling people, we are going to kill you. But this is days before the democratic process that is supposed to change the government of Uganda for the next 5 years. So whatever the reshuffles are, they are simply appealing to the regime. What the regime has said before, they are simply doing that. They are bringing in people that have fought in the most notorious
in Somalia.
In Somalia,
the president said, if I quote him right, there was an interview yesterday he did with, where he said they are not going to tolerate any breakout of anyone that is trying to break peace in the city, they will do whatever it takes.
You see, incidentally, I haven't heard anyone say we are going to disorganize the country. I've not heard that, at least, but I've heard people say, if you disorganize peace, and I've seen a lot of adverts running on TV. I choose peace. If you riot, you know you will die. But I haven't heard anyone say we are going to riot. Otherwise, are we planning that there might be an injustice that might bring people to riot? Because, like they say, there is no peace without justice. So unless if the government is preparing us for an injustice, that will probably spark people to protest, and then it will answer in such a way.
Let me actually bring it again to that point. I was checking on to President Museveni's records right from 1986, building up his election. One of the strongest points that he has made time and again, though we choose to disregard it, is the fact that he says, I am a revolutionary, and a mere ballot paper cannot take me out of power. We are going into this election knowing that there are two results. There is a winner and a loser, okay? And I'm going to ask you both, gentlemen and lady, what happens if Museveni still does whatever he does and wins this election? Sarah Joy, I'll start with you.
You say, what if, what do you mean by saying
what if
he does?
Comes back
what do you
and he
mean?
wins this election? What happens to Nup?
No, are you saying, because when you're saying, what happens if Museveni does what he does?
Yes.
What are you trying to mean?
No, I mean, he has said a mere ballot paper cannot.
So, in other words, you're saying that what happens if Museveni rigs the election and comes back?
Either way, if rigs or is
no, because if you say a mere ballot box cannot take me out, what is the other way out?
That's not my word, that's him, I'm quoting him.
No, if he quotes that, basically he's meaning.
Because we are going into this election, but that is at the back of my mind. That
yeah,
someone
but
has said,
in other words, his meaning
a mere ballot paper
if
will
you
not
say
take you out of
if a mere ballot paper cannot take you out of power, then for starters, why do you even waste time and organize an election where you know very well you're not going to concede if you lose? But again, the other thing comes to, we all know, we've seen what has happened all over the country, even with the the difficulties Honorable Charles Gulanya has faced campaigning. We all know that President Museveni is not going to win this election outrightly. The only way Museveni can cling into power is by rigging. And we know he's been rigging for the last 3-4 elections. And that's the only way he has been able to come back to power. But, and again, so much has happened. Because at this point in time, we are looking at Byabakama to see what is Byabakama seriously going to do. Because when we look at what has happened, the violence, the police brutality, that has happened during this election, it should be nulled. It should be nulled because we have seen so many dead bodies drop in this campaign, more than any other campaign that has ever been there. You've seen the force, you've seen the police and the army that are meant to be non-partisan, being partisan. They've literally been involved in campaigning for President Museveni. We've seen them protecting people on the other side. We've seen the team of President Museveni, they've been doing processions, and the police is right there to protect them. And
the president said he cannot be blamed for the lives that were lost. I saw that in the interview.
No, but they were not, these people.
He said that it was the other person should be taking the blame because...
No, who takes the blame? Because who was shooting? These people did not just... They were not murdered by, they were not beaten to death, they were not stoned to death. The police, and some of the people were just going about their businesses when stray bullets, because these guys were shooting randomly. They had no direction of who to shoot. They were just shooting, killing whoever the bullet would grab. So at the end of the day, when you look at what has been happening in this campaign, you've had the army, the police being partisan. You've clearly seen they've protected, or they've been involved in processions of President Museveni and the people campaigning for them. They've been part of it. On this other side, you've seen how many times BOBI Wine has been shot at? Maybe about 3-4 times. 4 times they've shot at his, and right now we have most of the guys in his campaign team, you've seen they are charging them with owning ammunitions and guns. And I'm like, these guys, they think that we're going to believe these stories because this is not the first time it has happened. It has happened before where they accused BOBI Wine of owning guns, yet he didn't have any. So at the end of the day, the best President Museveni can do is to rig this election. But then what are Ugandans willing to take the rigging? Are Ugandans going to sit back and say, oh, he's been rigging for the last 3-4 times, it is okay, let him rig and go out with it? It is now going to come down to...
What do you think is going to happen?
I think at the end of the day, it is President Museveni he has lived in comfort and he's so used to the comfort that he does not see himself out of power. The other thing is Ugandans, if they want change, they're going to demand for it. They're going to demand for it, whether forcefully or through an uprising, whatever the way they're going to demand for it. Because is President Museveni willing to leave power anytime soon? Definitely not. So it is entirely going to, and is he going to change the nation? Is he going to change Uganda in the next 5 years? Definitely not. He's run out of ideas. Basically what they're doing, in the next 5 years, if President Museveni is not contained and he comes back, Uganda is going to have more debts, levels of unemployment are going to go higher, the stealing corruption is going to be maybe 4 times more than what is happening today. So it is going to get worse. Do we expect anything to get better? Definitely not.
Because the reason why I ask that, and I'm going to ask you also, Kapalaga, is let's face it, this guy appoints the Chief Justice. He appoints the Electoral Commission Chairperson. He appoints the commander of the military. He appoints the commander of the police. He appoints the Speaker of Parliament. Literally, the whole country is under his guard. He can control Uganda on a remote. We've seen Kizza Besigye lose 4 times against Museveni, and in 2 of those times, the country was so certain that Kizza Besigye won, but nothing happened. Kapalaga, I know you're very optimistic. We are all optimistic for change. But if change does not come, what happens?
You see, Mr. Mukitale, you're right when you say the President Museveni appoints whoever he appoints, but he does not appoint the most important tool, Ugandan. Ugandans are more assertive than any time before. I want to remind you that this revolution is not between the politicians and probably the elites. This revolution is for Ugandans like me, like Sarah. We are not politicians. You just invite us here because we are available to talk about the governance of our country, but not as political elites. I haven't sat in a political class since senior 1. I didn't do history. History was compulsory. I never sat for a paper of history in my life. I only did history in senior 1 and senior 2. Because I detested politics. I detested whatever happened then. Because I thought I would be a star. I would sing for the people and they would be happy. That was my life. That was Honorable Chagulanyi's life. But then, environment forced us to react. Okay? And here we are talking politics or talking reality. I like calling it reality. Because whatever we are doing is not politics. This is politics of a different generation. We are talking reality. So I want to assure you, Mr. Mukitale, that even if whatever has happened happens, President Museveni is losing this election. Whether it is free and fair or not, President Museveni is going to lose this election. So forget all the words that he has said. Forget all that.
I mean, the reason why I asked you that is because I watched his final interview yesterday, and I was scared as a person. I was so scared when someone says, I will not give in to anyone who wants to break peace in Uganda. I mean, the idea is not even tolerate, but say, I will not. You get the tone that someone is using. So that's why I'm telling you that as we enter into this election, it's very incumbent on us to think ahead and say, if this guy still comes back as president. But you've answered that question. So
Francisco, I want to answer that too. Francisco Solano was Brazilian president. He said, I cannot leave power. He was offered deals. They offered him a deal, you know, if you can leave power, we are going to do this for you, we are going to do this. He refused. But in just a few days, he was gone. I mean, I want to be positive with Museveni. I think he's saying all that to scare, you know, because they've used a lot of propaganda so people cannot vote. But this time around, you are going to see very many people who have not voted in their lifetime go to vote for the first time. And don't underestimate that number. Don't underestimate the youth who don't have jobs and they think we have a better manifesto. It is so sad that you haven't had us discuss our manifesto throughout the campaign, because, I mean, you see the environment that we've been working on, and whenever we come here, we are discussing police killed this, police killed so and so. But we have a very beautiful manifesto, and people know what we stand for, and that is why they support us. And I believe those people who support us are the majority of Ugandans. What they call the silent majority, I want to tell you what they call the silent majority, is the very many people who are scared to speak against President Museveni. Now, we, the minority, speak for them. So the silent majority who cannot speak against President Museveni, but who you might not probably invite here, are watching us, and they are so happy that we are speaking for them, we are speaking on their behalf, and they are the ones who are going to cast their votes. So I want to assure you again, Mr. Mukitale, that President Museveni is going to lose this election, whether it is free and fair or not.
All right, I will come back to that issue because we shall end with it. It's official that Nubian Lee, Eddie Mutwe, and 47 others will not be voting for Mr. Robert Kyagulanyi because they were remanded on Friday until the 19th. So that's going to be, they'll actually come out of prison 4 days after the election, right? I don't think we vote from our prison cells, our prison system in Uganda permits for prisoners to vote. Yeah. That doesn't happen.
Actually, court ruled for that, but you know how Uganda operates.
I mean, it must be painful for especially Nubian Lee and Eddie Mutwe not to vote for someone.
Who says they are not going to vote?
I mean, unless if they're going to come out and vote.
My friend.
So, for whatever reason, let's look at it. For whatever reason, the charges were treason, right? And if I understand treason very well, is possession of illegal ammunition.
Well, but did they parade the illegal ammunition that they found with?
Magazines.
You are.
They paraded the magazines.
You are the people who.
Where did they find them?
I think at NUP headquarters. So.
No, not NUP. Okay, this is what happened.
Help us understand.
Because
where did you get the guns and where did you get the
no, they were actually not guns, but you see. The government of President Museveni is so ashamed because they are dealing with a generation that they are totally disconnected with. And that is so unfortunate. They think people, they think we are in the 60s or 80s. We are in 2021, for God's sake. So they arrested these people, okay? From Kalangala. And they arrested the key people of Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi, the key team that he moves with. Because when they tried to arrest Honorable Kyagulanyi, I don't have to tell you what happened. So they thought probably to weaken him, they have to take away his team, okay? And that is impunity, and unfortunately, the Electoral Commission has said nothing about that. And so they arrest more than 120 people, and we go to court, and the court gives them bail. So as they are coming to court to be released, one of the bus is diverted to, we didn't know anywhere. We just saw that one of the bus wasn't coming to court. And eventually, we realized that it had actually been diverted to the army headquarters or somewhere.
Yeah, because now it is
and then they parade the people. They say they found a magazine in Kasubi, in one of the people that they arrested, that he took them to his place, and then they went, they searched for his house, searching for the magazine. They couldn't find it, and then police told him, okay, you come, you check in the Kasasiro. check there. Right. And then when he checked, he found the magazine. When the police was actually the one that was telling him, check there and find the magazine. That's weird. It's so awesome. I mean, it's weird that the government of Uganda behaves in such a manner.
No, Charles, you know, it's an amateurish way of doing things.
You know?
Because because if they raided his home and they say they found him with guns, because I heard they didn't have, they need to give us that footage. And, you know, but it's the same thing they did to Honorable Chagulanyi.
Exactly.
The next day they had, there were so many guns of what they claim they found in Honorable Chagulanyi's room. And up to now, you know,
we don't know where the guns are.
When the public said, you know what, those guns don't belong to Honorable Chagulanyi, you staged them, they disappeared. Up to now, we do not know what happened. But this was this was staged. This was staged. These are guys, these are guys you found in Kalangala, and all of a sudden, some belong to police. I think what they're trying to do, I think someone told them, arresting Chagulanyi is a problem. It causes both local and international media, and you don't want that on yourself. Then what do they choose to do? Is try to isolate him by starting to arrest people around him. When he was in the east, there is a team that was with him. They arrested that entire team again. So what they are trying to do, they think they can weaken him by arresting everyone around him, you know, all his friends and all that. But I think at this stage where Honorable Chagulanyi is, he has already given in his life already. I don't think there's anything President Museveni is going to do that is going to weaken him. I think the last thing that would really have a pinch on him and really get on his nerves would be his kids. But he was wise enough to take them away. His wife is around. You cannot arrest. Yeah, you cannot arrest BOBI. You cannot arrest BOBI and you break Chagulanyi. BOBI is a strong woman. She can handle all the bullshit of the police. She's a strong woman. I saw her campaigning in the West, in between, you know, firing tear gas and bullets. And I'm like, this woman, kudos. Not so many women can do that. BOBI is a strong woman. She can withstand every condition. But if they had gotten hold of these kids who are teenagers, they are not even of voting age. Some of them look at Sophie, she doesn't even know what's going on. So I think it was wise to get the kids out of the picture. And the main man, let him stay on ground with no distractions of knowing that, you know, they're going to, because definitely that was the next stage, because the regime can't do anything. They are so disturbed by the numbers that believe in Chagulanyi. But I don't know why they are even disturbed, because, you know, 34 years. What do you expect? These are people who have not seen another president. People know only one president, President Museveni. So don't expect people. I don't know whether people have been telling President Museveni that he's governing a country with idiots, just as he calls us. So I don't know whether he doesn't know that Ugandans have brains, have a mind, and some of these have developed and I'll tell you something that I found funny, that really I found funny, and I'm like, this man really takes Ugandans for granted. It was something I think he posted where an NRM supporter was asking him that he has benefited nothing from his government. And President Museveni asked him if he has children. The guy said, yes, I'm married, I have children. And he said, are your children immunized? Then he said, yes. Then he said, oh, how can you claim you haven't benefited anything from this government when your kids are immunized? That's how President Museveni has reduced, you know, that's how far he has reduced, because that's how far he looks, that's how terrible he looks at Ugandans. You can imagine, whatever, the vaccines that come in for immunization, polio and all the rest, these are donations from World Health Organization and its partners. And if you're a Ugandan out there and you're feeling proud that, oh, okay, at least the only thing President Museveni has done for me is at least I was vaccinated against polio, measles. My dear, none of that medicine, the vaccines that are used, none of that is bought. These are donations that come in from America, from World Health Organization.
I mean, for many years, people have been told to believe,
it is free of charge.
To believe that the role of a government is to hand out, you know, make handouts, right? So people know that.
No, but it is the president, it is the government of President Museveni, yes, that has created that to think that, oh, when they give you something, everything should be, you know, handouts.
Politically motivated.
Exactly.
If a school receives sanitary pads, they must be in a yellow vaccines. The vaccines you've been receiving, polio, measles, and all that, are free of charge, donated. For example, you have already, America is rolling out their COVID, and I'm sure by the time, if they mostly vaccinate, if they get done with the vaccinating of its population, they are going to donate vaccination. So if you see COVID vaccine come to Uganda and you see governments bragging around how they've done this, those are donations. Donations free of charge. So for a poor president, for after 35 years, to tell a gentleman who is asking him, sir, 35 years you've been in power. As an NRM supporter, I've benefited nothing from your regime, and you're telling this man that at least your child was vaccinated, yet the child has to eat, the child has to sleep, the child needs basic education. Museveni really takes Ugandans for granted. And I think that brings us back to the question I asked. You know, the reason why I asked that question is because we are looking at a judiciary that is also allowing to be used to that level of, as you said, trumping up charges, you know, where, I mean, I'm not sure how it happened. You say they planted the magazine in the trash and said, point there. But we also saw a similar incident in Arua, where BOBI Wine and his team, okay, they said they found guns in his bedroom, right? Though it was, until now, we don't know how that case ended. And the same judiciary is the same that we are trying to entrust with an election that is coming in the next few days. That's what worries me, that if people are being so unresponsible, you know, irresponsible to the country, to even sit and preside over such a case, what should we expect from an election result?
One day,
because obviously people are going to run to court and challenge the election. You know, it has happened before. You saw how Babazi challenged the election, Kizza Besigye, they all went to court. But the same court always gave no verdict that could nullify an election.
One day, President Amin was talking to the boxers. And he was asking why Uganda was not winning medals. And they told him, you see, Mr. President, when we go there, these referees are whites, you know, so the results cannot be as expected because they will always cheat. And President Museveni, President Amin told them, so why, if you go to the ring, just give that guy, how is that punch called?
A knockout.
A knockout. Give him a knockout. So, and let's see how a referee will say that, you see, even if you gave this person a knockout, he's still the winner. Mr. Mukitale, this is a revolution. This is this is between the haves and the have-nots. And when you look at Uganda, the have-nots make a percentage of over 80, 90%. These are the people who are going to vote for Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. So, even when they, you see, we were in Chadondo, and they injected a lot of money in Chadondo for Kyagulanyi to come out as an MP. President Museveni himself came to Chadondo and campaigned, de-campaigned the Honorable Kyagulanyi, blah, blah. He's here, a marijuana taker, he smokes this, but because Honorable Kyagulanyi has always represented the people, the common people, people still voted for him, and we had a percentage of 88%. And that was just a representation. Chadondo was a representation of the whole Uganda. I'm pretty sure you've seen what has happened wherever Kyagulanyi has gone for his campaigns. And that's why they had to restrict him from very many areas. They first restricted him from going to 13 districts, and now they added 16 others. That is not just because he is campaigning, but because they know he's winning. And make no mistake, these people see whatever is happening, and they know. And they, like I said before, they are more assertive. They see things unfolding, and they know, actually, this is the deal. And I want to make sure that I tell you again, Mr. Mukitale, that Honorable Kyagulanyi Robert Ssentamu is going to win this election, regardless of what President Museveni wants. Whether Byabakama is free and fair or not, Honorable Kyagulanyi and the people of Uganda are going to win.
Let's talk back on an issue she talked about. I wanted to discuss it further. The incident where we saw BOBI Wine, being forced to evacuate his family from Uganda. Do you guys think, now that they have taken all BOBI Wine's personal or close allies, was also Chuma Chayes taken? I don't know. Who? Chuma Chayes and all the other guys.
Yeah, he's among them.
So I want to imagine that right now, BOBI Wine has been having his inner circle of friends that he's walking with in his cars and around him. Do you feel that his life now could be at risk? Is his life in danger at all? And looking at the evacuation of his children, some people are saying, oh, people's children are dying, he's evacuating his family, so much stuff going on. Do you think his life is personally now in danger?
I don't think so, because the people who move around Kyagulanyi do not have guns. So what would they have done in case these guys decide to shoot? Maybe the only difference is just being lucky that every time a shooting happens, there's one person closer to him that is hit. So I don't think, I think President Museveni knows the impact of harming Honorable Kyagulanyi right now. Just imagine if, and I'm just saying if, the tear gas canister they threw at him that landed on Ashraf, landed on Honorable Kyagulanyi. It's Honorable Kyagulanyi who is in the ICU right now or in the hospital for 2 weeks. I'm telling you, they know the risk. They just arrested him just for a day, and they saw what happened. They know the risk of touching Honorable Kyagulanyi, and not only at home, but they get also pressure from the international community. So the pressure, he knows very well. And I'm so kudos to the team of Honorable Kyagulanyi in the diaspora that has been working so hard to highlight some of these atrocities. You've seen sanctions coming in. You've seen now international media and development partners are now being involved. You've seen congressmen, senators tweeting about what is happening in Uganda, because, sometimes people think, oh, they know, they don't. You just have to put it to their faces, and the team has done a good job on putting it in their faces so that they are interested. You've seen it has gone to the table of the senator or congressmen who are working on foreign affairs, and we believe by the coming of Biden, who is more interested in development partners and working on the foreign policy, he would be interested I saw the team the other time. They were in Delaware, where Biden resides, and they were, doing their peaceful demonstration there. And I know they put up, maybe they came up with maybe a letter or something and handed over to the office of President-elect Joe Biden. So you need a lot of people in this, because dictators, the way, we've seen dictators in Africa, the way they cement themselves. Right now, we know very well, it is now, he has engraved on the military and the police, and it is entirely working for him. Though I'm still disappointed in those guys, because the person they're working for is not working for them. Look at the way the police are paid. Look at the way the army are paid. If they were really, if they were working together, he would be these guys would be having a comfortable life. He would be paying them better. But they're working for him, is not working for them. So, but I think the isolation was meant to make him lonely, weaken him, see him,
Yeah, because that's what I wanted to
yeah.
Psychologically, when they take away your inner circle of friends that really speak life into you, that encourage you.
But he has the rest. Bobby Wine has more. The problem is, Bobby Wine has more than just the circle of friends you see around him. Bobby Wine has friends all over the world. Kapalaga is his friend, I'm his friend.
You're not going to be in his car.
No, you have...
Lubianli has been in his car for all this time.
I totally understand what you're saying, but and he mentioned it himself. I think emotionally, for a very long time, he's been preparing himself for all uncertainties, and some of the uncertainties also include death, because anytime he's in the line of death, like it or not. So he's been preparing his mind, and he knows the dictatorship will do anything to break him down. But yes, I know he's been around the circle of friends. It is he's gonna show strength and move forward despite what is, because those are things that are meant to happen for him to be. Because at this point in time, if Ugandans who have put their hope and trust in Kyagulanyi see him break down just because his friends have been taken away, Ugandans will be so disappointed. They'll be like, because I'll tell you one thing, Ugandans, those who really want change, their hope is in Honorable Kyagulanyi to deliver that change. How he does it, they may not even know, or they may not care. But they are seeing he has the potential, and that's why you see he has enormous support everywhere he has gone, all across the country. Ugandans want change, and the only person, the face of the change, is Honorable Kyagulanyi. That's why you see you've had so many propagandists, people who are trying to break him. Nobody has managed to break him to manage to a place whereby, people no longer believe anything you say about him. Propagandists have come up with stories, this and what, funded by homosexuality. I saw President Museveni himself. Oh, he's funded by homosexuality. And I'm like, you're president of the country.
You said Bobby Wine is promoting the homosexuality agenda.
But he has also been promoting it. I know people in his government, people who are, and it's not in my place here to mention it, people who are working for President Museveni who are homosexuals. I know them, the likes of Andrew Mwenda. So his close allies. You have
evidence on Andrew Mwenda?
His close allies are homosexuals as well. So I do not know what his intentions are, but I think, he's trying to do that to alienate, because I know the African cultures and how, they've played around with the card of homosexuality for a very long time, just because they want to discriminate people, eliminate people. They've played the homosexuality card, but I don't think the homosexuality card is going to save Museveni anymore. Because the problem in Uganda is not the homosexual. They've not stolen anyone's money. Just tell me one homosexual that has stolen funds that belong to the Ugandans. None. Just tell me, what have they done? Are they the reasons why, we don't have medicine in hospitals? Are they the reason why women die when they're giving birth? Are they the reason why we have poor service delivery? Are they the reason why Museveni has stayed in power for 34 years? I don't think any of that, people's sexual orientation, I don't think it has anything to do with Museveni. And, but you see, he's looking for hangers. He's looking for, okay, what excuse can I use right now to make Bobby Wine look bad, to make him, Ugandans to hate him. But I shall tell President Museveni, even if tomorrow he said Bobby Wine eats dead bodies, and tomorrow he parades the dead person next to BOBI Wine and a pot of blood, there's nothing can tell Ugandans. There's nothing. I think Ugandans have gotten to that place whereby there's nothing you're going to say. And it is so disappointing when I heard him in that interview. I think it was it Looters?
Yeah, one of those.
One of those media houses, international media houses, when they were interviewing him. And she was really bluntly telling him that, you know, and you've noticed President Museveni now hates questions that he knows the answer, but because he has been flip-flopping for a long time about these answers to the same questions, now he becomes either, when he's asked these questions, he becomes rude, or he tries to find very many excuses, because she finally asked him.
He tries to intimidate.
Yes, she even asked him, how is homosexuality connected to you staying in power for 35 years? I think Ugandans want change. How is it connected with homosexuality? And he didn't have the answer, but he was blabbing around saying this and this. But he should understand, and I don't know where he gets his intelligence for him to say, oh, it's the homosexuals that are funding BOBI Wine. And that drives me to think the intelligence of a country like Uganda. I don't know whether their intelligence really works very well. And I'll say it, and I'll say it again here. The campaign of Honorable Kyagulanyi has been strictly funded by Ugandans who are living abroad. And President Museveni should know. Do you know the numbers of Ugandans who are living abroad?
Maybe you may tell us.
It's over 1 million Ugandans and more.
Yeah, over.
Yeah, the number, over 1 million Ugandans and more. And the number of Ugandans living in America alone, they could be maybe between 50,000. You have Canada, you have all these countries. And I'm telling you, unless you're not in your sane mind, you cannot live in countries where you see services being delivered, where you see you pay your taxes and you see your taxes being transited back into services given back to you. You are not going to live in a country where you see, after you see, we've just had an election in America where President Trump, however much he felt it was good enough, the people of America spoke and said, my dear, you are good enough to yourself, to us you're not. He's out, another president is coming in. Uganda, you cannot have, when you see the presidents that have gone through America for the last 8 years, for the last 35 years, over 7 presidents, and you have one person who is stuck there. And so there is nothing really he's gonna explain about his overstaying in power. I heard his excuses, oh, me being in power for 35 years is not the issue so long as you're voted in. But how are you voted in? You changed the constitution. You went, for you to be able even to stay in power, you went and changed the constitution of Uganda. So he has done a lot of, illegal things, even to our own constitution. For you, he has changed the constitution in his favor, not once, not twice. So for him to say, oh, I'm voted in, it is not bad to stay in power for a long time so long as you're voted in. But you really, really brutalized our constitution to favor you as an individual, as one person. That's why I keep saying President Museveni is the most selfish human being. He's a narcissist, he's selfish, he only thinks about himself and the few people who eat from his hands.
Let's look at the mechanisms of protecting this election. You had recently announced to us that there's going to be an app that Ugandans can use to record election results in their communities, in their villages, but I learned that app is no longer going to be functional in Uganda during the elections. Can you bring us to speed with the app that you had suggested that people can use? And what other mechanisms now would you have to make sure that you at least have record of the results as they come in from each tallying center, from each polling station?
You see, in democratic process, a candidate should only have a polling agent for records, but not to guard the vote. That's in a democracy. Because we literally, there should not be any malfunction when it comes to elections. It should be free and fair, and there should not be cheating. But now, given that we are working in an environment like Uganda, where the government will tell you that, hey, you're saying the NRM cheats, but you don't have polling agents in some polling stations. Is that a leeway for you to cheat because we don't have we don't have polling agents? No, that should not be. It shouldn't be like that. So, being a Chagulanyi generation like we are, people, Ugandans developed an app called YouVote, and it was in the Play Store, I think yesterday but one. And people have to use that. We want to make sure every Ugandan, because like I say, this revolution is not about Sarah or Kaparaga or Chagulanyi. It is about Ugandans. So we want to make sure that every Ugandan takes it upon himself to guard his vote and make sure he relays the results as they come from his polling station. We are definitely having polling agents, but we still, because polling agents can be bought. Polling agents can be arrested. You know how the government works. So we want to make sure that this time everyone is involved. So that's why we came up with that application. And the application, of course, like we... You see, the government of Uganda is so predictable. So predictable. So, like we predicted, they banned the application, and I think they switched off the Google Play for some time, so people cannot be able to download. I mean, if it is a free and fair election, why would you stop an application that the other party is developing to make sure they can count their votes? But then, again, being a Chagulanyi generation, this app will be used and it will be there in the App Store and Ugandans will use it.
So you do you think it's going to be effective enough for people to...
oh, yeah.
To capture... So how does it work? How does someone use it? And
so... someone goes, of course it is not in the app stores for now because we are trying to change something so it can be able to appear, because it was banned by the government, but we want to make sure it is there. Now, when you download it, there is a register button that you'll have. And then you register, you fill in your name, where you're voting from, your district and all that. Then you will receive a token. Because you're in Uganda, you'll get a message with a token. And then that token works like your password. Okay? So when you enter your number and that token, you'll be able to access the platform where which has all the polling stations. You can access that through your district, then your sub-county, then your, up to your polling station. And then it has all the 11 candidates. We want to make sure that people put all the results, not only Honorable Chagulanyi's results, but all the results, President Museveni, Mugisha Muntu, Amriat, Katumba, all the results at the polling station. Then after you put in those results, you will send. But then, if there is an incident, for example, they've arrested our polling agent, you have to record. There is an option. You can record the sound, the audio, using your phone, okay, and then upload that audio and send it to us. Or you can take pictures. You upload the pictures and send them to us. So basically, we are going to have tally center where all the information is got, and then we shall be able to disseminate all the results. We are going to give...
I mean,
this is a different generation.
We shall have internet, because if I remember very well, in 2016, the government turned off internet for 3 days.
Yes.
And it came back after the election results had been announced.
Yes.
So as you come up with all these applications, I hope that you have that in mind, that the same government that still is managing UCC it still has the button that they can press
My friend,
and turn off the social media.
my friend,
I know, of course,
this app is not developed by Canadians or Americans. It is developed by Ugandans who know
how to use VPN.
No. How Uganda and its government operates. So I want to tell you that this information will be relayed whether the internet is off, even whether the VPN is off. This information is going to be relayed using that app. I want to remind you that this is a different generation. And this generation is solving problems with generational solutions.
Sarah Joy.
But again, we encourage Ugandans.
Do you think it will impact this election if the internet is turned off, like 2016?
People downloaded VPN. That's why in the last days towards elections, we're encouraging Ugandans download VPN, because the dictator is scared. First of all, they want to do rigging, and they want to avoid people to share information. They only do that because they want to stop people from sharing information. So download VPN. And I've seen on social media some bloggers are sharing some of the strong VPN links. Yeah, whatever they are sharing with you, download that and have it on your phone the moment they switch off. But again, one thing that is going to surprise you, most of Ugandans are using VPN because they are not paying for OTT.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they are able to bypass.
Yes. I know Ugandans who are using VPN, so they are able to bypass OTT, because I've spoken to a number of people and they're like, but we're using VPN. Who is going to pay for this OTT? So some Ugandans have already...
So in other words, they help. You see whatever happens in Uganda plays cool for us. When they put OTT, people will download VPN, and that VPN will be able to be used during elections.
Yeah, so some of the people have been well acquainted with VPN because they're not paying OTT. They said no to this tax, and they're using VPN. So we encourage every other Ugandan who has a smartphone and you haven't downloaded VPN. I think in these coming days, gearing up to the election, we're going to be sharing more the links of the good apps with VPN you can use, you can download, and maybe follow the link, download it, have it on your phone. Because for us who live outside Uganda, we are not affected. Our phones will be working, but we need you who is there to share information with that. Even if you just record a video, you may need VPN to throw it on my WhatsApp, and from my WhatsApp I can share it with the rest of the world. So yeah, download VPN, have it, and it's a smart generation. We will do anything. I think I'm telling from the interviews I had President Museveni do today. When I heard him speak, he has zero intelligence. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's blabbering about. He says, I didn't know a president with the full CMI, CID would be going around with rumors and propaganda instead of having facts. He would be having facts. They asked him BOBI wine is being funded by foreigners. Mm-hmm. Who are the foreigners? She was direct with him. Who are the foreigners? He cannot even mention any. Or Europeans, he cannot even mention any because he doesn't have the facts. So I think
Sarah Joyce are the Europeans.
I think we don't want him to waste so much of our time. I think right now we should focus on what we need to do to secure the election and forget about President Museveni.
The future.
Yes.
Kapalaga, before we leave, how is it going with your fundraising? Are you guys stable now? You don't need any more money?
No, you see...
And when are you closing the fundraising itself?
Like President Museveni said, our votes, our election, or our campaigns are funded by the Western world. And the Western world that he means is us, Ugandans living in the diaspora. Tomorrow, we have a grand final fundraiser, and it is going to be a marathon.
Oh, where?
So, different chapters. You know, we have over 40 different chapters all over the world. And these are the people who have been fundraising for the campaigns of Honorable Kyagulanyi. So, when I look at President Museveni saying, you see, Kyagulanyi is funded, I just laugh because I know what Kyagulanyi goes through to make sure those campaigns can stand. So we came up with a grand final marathon fundraiser. Now, this fundraiser is going to be trans-world. Like, everyone in the world has to be part of it, or wants to be part of it, because it's literally the last day, and we need money to guard our vote. We need money for the polling agents. For example, if we have 2 polling agents on each polling station, that would literally mean, even if you're giving them 10,000 each, that is inclusive of transport and food, which is very little money. It will be like over 700 million. So we want money, and that's why we are coming up with this fundraiser. So this is going to be one fundraiser running for over 12 hours. It will start with, we have different chapters coming in depending on their time zone. So we shall start with Australia, and Australia will give the, you know relay? You know how relay is in a marathon. You pass the stick to another person. So that's how we are going to do this. Australia will give the stick to Africa, and Africa and UAE have pretty the same time. So Australia will be coming in at 8 p.m. of their time. That's a little, I guess it's around 12 p.m. Ugandan time. So that's when the fundraiser starts. Then it goes until around 6 p.m. Ugandan time, and the African fundraiser starts. And Africa is together with Middle East. And then we have, no, I want to be sure.
And as you go into that, Sarah Jo, you'll also tell us as we end, someone was saying here that they thought Bebe Cool had bought you off.
Me?
I didn't know that you and Bebe Cool are...
Me?
It was a post I saw here.
Bebe Cool is broke. Does he have money to buy off anyone?
That they thought you had begun speaking Rudisha. I saw it somewhere.
No, because they haven't seen me on the show.
Maybe, yeah, because you've been away for a long time.
If you don't see me on the show, I'm very active on my social media. My social media is about the campaign of Honorable Kyagulanyi. So if you don't see me on the show, I'm active on my social media.
Phone?
Yeah, so yeah, tell us about the and especially in Boston, where will people gather? Where will people join the marathon? Those
yes, so it's going to be pretty much the same time that we've been fundraising. The only difference is that this one is a marathon. So we have Australia first coming in. It will be 8 p.m. their time. It will be 12 p.m. Yeah, 8 p.m. their time, 12 p.m. Ugandan time. Then Australia passes it to Asia. It will be around 2 p.m. Ugandan time. And then in China, Japan, and South Korea, it will be 8 p.m. their time. Then the Asian team passes it to Africa. In Africa, it will be 6 p.m. Ugandan time. And it will be 6 p.m. in South Africa. It will be 6 p.m. in Kenya. I think 5 p.m. in Rwanda, and all that. And then 7 p.m. in UAE. So those are doing the same time. That's the Africa fundraiser. And then the African team passes it to Europe. It will be 6 p.m. in UK. But it will be 9 p.m. in Uganda. So the UK and the EU team will pass on the fundraiser to America and the North America, inclusive of Canada and all the states of the US. And that will be 7 p.m. We've normally been starting at 8 p.m., but because it's a marathon, we are starting a little bit earlier, so it will be 7 p.m. Boston time, or East Africa, what is EST?
West Coast.
East Coast time. And then it will be 4 p.m. PST. PST is what?
4 p.m. is that at which state?
That's for Canada.
California.
Yeah, California, that's West Coast.
Pacific time. So that's pretty much around 2 a.m. in Uganda on Monday. In Uganda it will be Monday, but it will be Sunday here. So that's the marathon that we are having. Remember, we are doing all this to fundraise for the money to help in facilitating these Ugandans who are going to guard their vote, the polling agents. That is why we need all this money. So I am appealing to you, Ugandans around the world, in Uganda and outside, please be part of this NUP People Power World Grand Final Mega Zoom fundraising that is happening tomorrow. In your time, we have this.
How do they join? How do they join that Zoom call? Is there a link?
There is usually a meeting ID, and there is a link that is passing on, and we want to have this relay on Facebook too, so people can be able to access this.
Which pages can they go to?
I understand JB Mwonge will be part of it. Campfire is normally part of that. My page, Kapalaga Biebe, will be part of it. And then we have, I think, Echoto. We have different Facebook pages that are going to give out this information. And we just appeal to the people to be part of it because we need to raise a lot of money. Whatever you see President Museveni saying is just simply discouraging you from giving in some money, and that will not give us the results that we want. So we want to appeal to you, comrades, Ugandans, fellow Ugandans, to please come through to this fundraiser wherever you are. You can send in the money. You can send in the money directly to Uganda on the 0703-6363 number. In the names of Daniel Oyerot.
Yogere mu Luganda simwe.
Esimu ya Airtel eya 0703 633 oba osobola n'okutuweereza essente ku PayPal yaffe. Tulina PayPal, tulina ne Zelle. Enamba eyo eri ya America eri +1 857 2313 739 +1 857 23. No. Sorry, I'm giving you a wrong number. Sorry. And my phone died out.
As you find your number, as you find the number, you can give us your last remarks.
Yes, my last remarks is Ugandans. We all see that the regime is panicking. They've brought in soldiers who are not Ugandans because they know Ugandans cannot kill fellow Ugandans. So they've deployed soldiers who are not Ugandans, but they are human beings.
Which country is that?
And they're getting them from Central Republic.
But they are human beings. As long as
you have evidence, because they might show up on your house and say proof.
Yeah, that's public information.
All right, and let me cut you.
Yeah. So we want to remind you that it's only this time that it seems we can, each and everyone can really see the light at the end of the tunnel. So we want to go to that light that we can see. The passing through this tunnel is definitely not easy because there is darkness. But you know, the new Uganda that we kept on talking about is now over there, and we can see it. You can see it wherever you are. So this is the only opportunity that we have to unseat President Museveni and his government. And I appeal to you to come out in very big numbers. Get your mask. Get your national ID. If you got a voter's location slip, you can have it. If you don't have it, you will still vote. So get them out. Come out as early as 5 a.m. because that's when they bring the ballot boxes. You want to make sure the ballot boxes are not tampered with. So make sure you come out very early in the morning to witness the boxes being opened. And then go vote for your candidate. Don't put on red. Don't put on the party colors. But come out, go vote the umbrella. Vote the umbrella for Honorable Robert Chagulanyi. Vote the umbrella for wherever your constituency is. Vote for that MP that is representing the umbrella. If you don't have an MP in that area, it is okay. You can still vote for that person who is pro-change. So vote for them. Then social distance, sit over ewa. Only there, the results to be, you have to witness the counting of results. When you witness that, record that in the app. I assure you that app is going to be available very soon.
Give it the name again is what? The app?
You vote. You vote Uganda.
Like you, the word you or the letter U?
You, the letter U, then vote, then Uganda. Okay. It is going to be available in the Play Store again very soon, and you should be able to download it. So if you can't use it, feel free to contact us. Feel free to contact Kamocha. Feel free to inbox me. I have a page, Kaparaga Baby. I have my number. You can always inbox. It's not on, you don't call direct, but you can always send a WhatsApp. I have it here. It's 0774 97708 MTN. You can always send me a message if you get any probably problems in using the app. I will always be willing to help you. This is a revolution. This is a new Uganda we are bringing, and we only have 4 days to change Uganda, and we are going to change it for the better.
Amen. Sarah,
yes.
Your final remarks as we go into this election.
I'm calling upon all Ugandans, and this is the chance you have to speak out, and this is through your vote. What is going to happen is usually you've had information or propaganda go around, oh, you can't change government, especially with dictators and all that. I think you have to come out and vote in huge numbers. A block vote can take out a dictator because it's hard to rig a block vote. So don't sit at home and say, oh, you know what? President Museveni is not going to leave. You've seen, because already he has started intimidating people by deploying all these head-shaved women I've seen. They don't even fit into the UPDF uniform. I don't know whether he got them from the Central Republic or Congo, short, stout women. You know these people, they look like they've been living in the jungle. So he's beginning to intimidate people. But this is not the first time he has intimidated Ugandans. So Ugandans must understand this is the time, this is the chance you have to speak out, and speak out through your vote. Come out and vote. A block vote, it is very hard. If you come out and vote Honorable Chagulanyi by 80%, it is going to be very hard for President Museveni to rig an election where the opponent has gotten 80%. So come out in big numbers, vote, don't be involved in anything that is going to incite situations where you're going to be arrested. Don't wear, on that day, don't wear red at all. Don't wear red, don't take out your beret, come out in your plain clothes, come out and vote, and you can keep around somewhere quietly as we wait for the counting of the votes. Because these guys are just eager and ready to arrest and put away Ugandans for no reason, because they are scared. So let's keep the peace, come out and vote, and let's guard our vote from being rigged, because the only option President Museveni has to cling on to power is by rigging our vote. We deny him the opportunity to rig our vote, he will go. President Museveni is not God. President Museveni, I am telling you, Gaddafi was more powerful than Museveni. The likes of Bashir were more powerful than Museveni. In fact, Gaddafi was really more powerful, 10 times powerful than Museveni. And Gaddafi is no more. So we cannot say President Museveni is not God, he is not immortal. We cannot live in a situation where we leave it to God, or let's wait until when God takes him. God is not taking this man. This man is 75, but he's still walking around like he's a 50-year-old. So, you know, we have to exercise that right of God, the right that was given to choose who we want to lead us and vote a leader we want into power. A leader who is going to serve Ugandans, and not a leader who is going to serve himself and his family.
And just to add, just a small thing to that, Yahya Jammeh ruled Malawi for 22 years. He was defeated in an election. And today Malawi has a different president. He was a dictator, yes, but they overwhelmed him. So he had ruled for 22 years. Malawians said, boss, your time is up. And he packed. So we have very high hopes that since Ugandans are going to vote in very big numbers, we are going to change government. Katonda omulungi tukwebaza kulwakubanga otuwadde ekiseera ekirungi. Otuyisiza mwaka omukadde nga tuli balamu kubanga oteekeddeteekedde omwaka guno. Kati omwaka guno Uganda yonna amaaso gaayo, emyoyo gyayo giri eyo gy'oli olw'okubanga ebadde mu kunyigirizibwa okumala ekiseera kinene. Uganda eyo gy'olaba tekyusangako ku bukulembeze mu mirembe, ate Mukama okimanyi. Tiwavudde olondayo omwana eyandibadde nga tasaana mu maaso g'abagagga, mu maaso g'ababi, olaba nga tasaana, naye gwe nga bw'olonda abatasaanye okwatisa abasaanye abeerowooza nti basaanye ensonyi, bw'otyo bw'alonda Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu okubeera ng'akulembera omulembe guno eno omupya ogwa Uganda. Uganda efune enkyukakyuka nga tewaliwo kuyiwa musaayi. Kkiriza omukuume awamu ne abaana Uganda bonna abo bonna abateekerateekera bannayuganda obubi okubatta ababeewerera Mukama, naawe oli mu ggulu tumanyi nti obalaba. Bannayuganda tebalina yadde ejjinja, tebalina yadde obusaale, tebalina yadde ki, naye bali balina emmundu ate ababeewerera. Kakati gwe tumanyi nti nowooli ebyo byonna tebisoboka. Kale kkiriza olunaku lwokuna lufuuke olw'ebyafaayo mu ggwanga lya Uganda, eggwanga likyuke, tukyuse obukulembeze nga tewaliwo kuyiwa musaayi, tufune pulezidenti omupya, pulezidenti ategeera embeera egenda mu maaso, pulezidenti gwe tusobola okwogera naye n'atambulira mu mateeka nga constitution bwegamba, so si pulezidenti agenda okukyusa constitution etambule ye nga bw'ayagala. Katonda waffe tumanyi nga oli wamu ne Uganda, kyova olabanga ebyo byonna ebibaddewo bibadde bisobodde okubituyisaamu. N'olunaku olw'okunakkiriza okwate ku bannayuganda baveeyo mu bungi, bajje balonde omukulembeze oyo gwe wawandako edda eddusu, ajje afuuke pulezidenti waffe. Uganda etunyumire kubanga wagituwanga eri so beautiful than any other country. So why can't we have a very good governance netweyagalira mu nsi yaffe? Tumanyi ng'ebyo byonna tugenda n'obikusaba nga byonna obimanyi era bigenda kujja olw'okubanga oyagala. Ebyo byonna tubikusabye linnya ly'omwana we omulokozi waffe Isa Masiya. Amen.
Amina sebo webale sale eyo. So I hope and pray that you too, wherever you are, you'll take some time this week and pray for the future of our country. pray for our nation shall have a peaceful transition or a free and fair election, if I not say peaceful, but most importantly, a free and fair election, that all the judiciary, the police, and the military will be, accountable to the Ugandans. And the next time when we meet here, we'll have finished the elections, and we'll just be having one day to announce the results of the 2021 presidential elections. Thank you very much for being here and for watching with us. Stay blessed and pray and pray and pray for our country.